If you're looking for a blockbuster bash, our next guest delivers high wattage sparkle for celebrities like Jennifer Lopez, Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odom, Nick Lachey and Vanessa Minnillo, as well as the multi-million-dollar wedding that was Kim and Chris. She's a West Coast wedding wonder, and she stopped by to share her style secrets. This is wedding planner Sharon Sachs. Hello, Sharon.
Hi.
I'm so thrilled you're here.
Thank you.
So we are going to talk about your beautiful weddings.
What is your biggest piece of advice to brides? Just any bride in the world, not just celebrities.
I think my advice would be, don't lose sight of what that night's about. It's about the love that you have for the man you're marrying. And if you stay focused and remember that, that night will be everything you wanted it to be.
I completely agree. It's a good piece of advice. Well, we could stop it right there, but I think we should look at some pretty photos.
Okay.
All right.
I heard that you did the Victoria's Secret model, Lily Aldridge.
You know, Lily and Caleb are very private people, and what was really important to them was the day they were going to say their I do's, they only shared it with their closest family and friends. They selected a glorious spot in Montecito at the San Ysidro Ranch. And they got married in front of a fireplace.
Oh, so pretty.
And the wood was crackling. Their guests sat in these vintage, gorgeous blue chairs with florals painted on them. And they visited with Lily and Caleb as they said their I do's.
Oh, it sounds like a perfect wedding. It sounds eclectic as well. Like wasn't perfectly matching, but very, very intimate.
It was definitely who the two of them were.
Well, one of the other trends now, it's not so eclectic, but dramatic, are black and white weddings. And you've done a number of black and white weddings, one recently famous one.
What Kim did in her wedding, the bridal party all wore white.
Yeah.
And for so long we've heard, no, 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 don't do that. Well, it didn't take away from the bride,
Right.
it enhanced the gown.
You cannot upstage the bride. Even
Never.
if your bridesmaids are all in white. Never, never.
Never.
I agree. Tell me about this wedding for one very famous basketball player.
You know, working for Khloe and Lamar was a treat. First of all, we did the wedding in 8 days, 9
my
days. The wedding was on the 9th. We had 8 days to pull it together.
Oh, for those of you brides who think you have a year and it's not enough time.
Right,
9 days.
right, 9 days for everything. But what was really wonderful about that wedding is the room felt warm, even though it was all white and black.
Yeah.
And the way we did that was we used long glass tables of all different heights. You know, Kenny Edmonds sang, rather than having a piano sit on a stage, we brought it into the room with couches around.
I love that touch. So moving on to the white and the wood, because this is kind of a new, kind of a trend I think a lot of brides could catch on to, no matter what your budget is. It looks so pretty. And what are your tips for doing white and wood together?
You know, wood is very homey, and it screams elegance. And the way I bring white to it is rather than cover a table, sometimes we just let the wood scream for itself.
Yep.
Or what we do is we do runners from person to person, and the width is the size of a placemat.
Oh, pretty.
And at Vanessa and Nick's wedding, what we were able to do is we had a monogram for them, and we monogrammed the runner, and instead of having a place card, each runner had the name of the guest, so they knew where their seat was.
Can you imagine
It was
how special
gorgeous.
you would feel as a guest?
And then that night, when they found themselves back in the room, the runners were attached by Velcro, and we rolled them, and when the evening came to an end, and they went back to say goodnight, the runner with their names were there.
You're a big fan of other unexpected elements. What's this birdcage action going on here?
You know, this bride, Simone, she loved birds and bird cages. Started the personalization at the very beginning. Those were photos of her mom and her mom's relationship with her dad, her relationship with her groom.
And this is from the same wedding.
Yes.
It looks like there's a Persian rug runner, and I love that you have blocked off the aisle there, so it feels so exclusive.
That's right. The aisle belongs only to the bridal party and my bride.
Oh, I love that.
And what
tip.
that also does is it helps your guests understand where they're supposed to go.
That's great. There was also some fabulous stationery from this event.
You know, the invitation was hand painted. You know, as you see, they use these fans that were hand painted, and it, instead of saying so and so and so and so and so and so were in my wedding party, each person's face, as you see, was hand painted. It was gorgeous.
Oh, I love it. And there's other details, like the cake had a shawl.
Well, Simone had this favorite shawl. So what we did is we draped it where the cake is, and you can see by the photograph how absolutely breathtaking that was.
And the chandelier, and you're all about kind of bringing something in overhead, too.
The eye has to go high, and you have to remember scale.
Okay.
And the way to create scale is don't be afraid of going too high. And if you go too high, add some warmth. You can do that with chandeliers. You can do that with pieces of ribbon hanging.
Is that all
with
ribbon in this blue picture?
ribbon and crystals.
Oh.
And so when the light crossed over, it just glistened.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And then another way to sort of playing with light. So this one in particular, you like using pillar candles.
You know, what's really wonderful about candles is it's not an expensive element. And all you need to do is think of what's important. Like one of my weddings, I did heart. And it was a huge heart outside. And it just so happened that my bride and groom ended up in there. And it was a great photo op.
All these are, you know, pretty big budget weddings, no doubt. But clearly most brides don't have a celebrity budget. But what are some sort of tips and ways that other brides, you know, can get the star style? You had a tip about bouquets in particular.
With Kim's bouquet, it was smaller because she wanted the detail to be about the gown, and that the bouquet would only enhance it. And a tip there is, when you pick your bouquet, make sure it's comfortable.
Necessarily bigger is better,
Right,
right?
bigger is definitely not better. Don't be afraid to use unique florals. Nick and Vanessa's, we used Gloriosas. It made such a statement in the photograph.
Oh, so pretty. Thank you so much for sharing all of your tips. Before I let you go, I have to ask, I know I'm not supposed to, but can you share anything about what you're working on? Any future celebrity weddings?
We have a few, but I can't.
Okay.
It's called confidentiality.
Called confidentiality. That just means you'll have to come back and tell us all
Yeah,
that
I look forward to that.
Thank you so much. This
Thank
was an
you.
incredible interview. It was great catching up with you. For more signature style ideas like these, just go to thenut.com/wedding style.